Everyone, hope you like this video. Hi everyone, so today we will be discussing the anatomy of the auditory canal. Now, auditory canal is also called your acoustic canal. So basically, it is the main function of the acoustic canal is to transfer the sound waves to the middle ear. That is the main function of the acoustic canal. There's another tube called the eustachian tube it's the one which will maintain equalized pressure on the ear, right? So now extent. So where does it start? It starts at the lower end of the concha. Now in the anatomy of anatomy of the pinna video, we had discussed that concha uh, is the opening of the auditory canal, so that it will start at the lower end of the concha. Now the length. It is a pretty small structure that is just 24 millimeter long, right? But this length is measured along its posterior wall, right? So this is the difference. Now, along its posterior wall. Now, the peculiar thing is that it is not a straight tube, right? Basically, what happens is there are two parts to this. There are two parts. There is an outer part which is basically directed upwards, backwards, and medially. And the inner part is directed downwards, forward, and medially. So to correctly understand this, I have this picture. So in this we can see that. So in this picture we can see that the auditory canal starts here at the lower end of the concha. So this one was your concha basically, but on its lower end it starts and goes all the way up to your eardrum. So it is going all the way up to your eardrum. This was your concha, right? So after that, this is your eardrum. This one was your eardrum. This is your auditory canal. Now what happens is, so the outer part goes upwards. So this is the part going upwards. Upwards, it goes towards the back. That is why it goes backwards, and it goes medially. So the parts towards your pinna are lateral, and those towards the inner side of the ear, these parts are your medial side basically. So what happens is it goes upwards, it goes backwards, and it goes medially. And the other ones go downwards. So it is a bit tilting down that it part. So this is your outer part, this is your inner part. So the outer part goes upwards, backwards, and medially. The inner part it will go downwards, forwards, and medially. Right. So this is it for the position of the auditory canal. Now let us move on. Now since the two parts are not aligned properly, since the two parts of auditory canal are not aligned properly, therefore what happens? Therefore, we need to pull the pinna. Therefore, we need to upward, backward, upwards, backwards, and laterally. Right? So what will we pull it as? We will pull it upwards, we will pull it and a little bit to the back. So this would be upward, this would be backwards, this would be laterally. We are pulling the pinna. So what will happen this will come into alignment. How will it come into alignment? Upward pulling. So this will go like this and it will become like this. Then backward pulling. So this will come in position with this. It will become like this. And so as to bring it in alignment, bring the two parts in alignment. And why do we need to bring them in alignment? To visualize is here. To visualize the tympanic membrane basically. There are basically two parts to the auditory canal. The one is your cartilaginous part, cartilaginous part. The other one is your. So let us now discuss the cartilaginous part first. So it is just the outer 1/3, which is the cartilaginous part. So it is the continuation of cartilage framework of the. So here, this is again the same diagram that is above. So this is so the anterior 1/3, that is this part is cartilaginous, the other part is bony, right? So in this part, so there are two fissures here. So I'm drawing these like this. So these are called your fissures of Santorini. So one of the relations of your the auditory canals inferiorly is your parotid gland. So if there is any infection or any inflammation of the parotid gland, then it can reach the auditory canals through the fissures of Santorini. So that is why the fissures of Santorini are very important, because they can form a pathway of the parotid infection to reach the anterior 1/3 or the cartilaginous 1/3 part of the auditory. So one of the superior relations of the auditory canal are your mastoid ear cells. Any infection of the mastoid ear cells can also travel down through the fissures of Santorini and lead to an infection of the parotid as well. Is about the skin, because there is a difference in the skin that is present in the cartilaginous in the bony part. So here the skin is thick. And it contains basically two types of glands, and that is your ceruminous and your pilosebaceous glands. Now these glands have the function of secreting ear wax. Now ear wax has an important function of entrapping dust, dirt, particles, so as to protect the middle and the inner ear. The one important point over here is that here are only present in anterior 1/3 rankles, which are nothing but staph infection of hair follicles. Hair follicles occur only in anterior 1/3 of the ear. So now the posterior 2/3 is your bony part, or you can also say the inner 2/3 part is your basically your bony part. And it contains no hairs, no glands, and the skin is thin. So this was our concha, this was our auditory canal, and this is our eardrum. So here there is a narrowing. Okay, now this is also visible over here, which is we can really see over here as well. So just look at this thing. So if I trace it over here, it goes like this, and it goes like this, and it is straight. There is, see, this is your tympanic membrane basically. This part gets thinned out. This part is known as your isthmus. This is your isthmus, 6 mm lateral to the eardrum or tympanic membrane. It is the narrowing of auditory canal. So basically 6 mm lateral is narrowing of the auditory canal, and that is called your isthmus. Now, why is it clinically important? Because if there is any if there is any foreign if there is any foreign body which gets lodged medial to the isthmus, that is, this was your isthmus, right? This was the narrowing that I showed you. Then it will be called as an impacted foreign body. Then it is called as an impacted foreign. Then it is called as an impacted foreign body. So they are difficult removal. That is why this isthmus narrowing is important. The anterior inferior part, that is this part, is a is called your anterior recess. So this is the anterior recess. So what is your anterior recess? It is the anterior inferior part. It is the anterior inferior part of deep meatus. So why is it important? It is important because it acts as a cesspool for discharge and debris. So basically any discharge or any debris will collect over here. Therefore, it needs a thorough cleaning basically. So we need to clean it thoroughly so that any debris, anything which is there can be removed. Now anterior inferior part, same part here in children, it can present called your foramen of Hush. It is present basically in children and it can lead to, so here also the relation is of the parotid inferiorly. So foramen of Hushke and foramen of santorini can lead to the infections of parotid reaching your ear canal. Thank you everyone. That was it. I would be discussing tympanic membrane and the other parts, the middle ear and the inner ear, in the upcoming anatomy videos for the year. Thank you so much.